We spend so much of our lives wishing we were someone else. Richer, more powerful, more important. We look at others and think, if only I had what they have, I'd finally be happy. But here's the truth most people learn too late. The thing you've been searching for out there in the world has been right inside you all along. Real power doesn't come from becoming something greater. It comes from realizing that who you already are was always enough. Today's story is about a simple stone cutter, a man who lived an ordinary life, doing ordinary work day after day. But one afternoon, under the shade of an old tree, he fell asleep and had a dream. Just a dream, nothing more. But that single dream took him on a journey he never expected, from a simple man to become anything he wanted. A king, the sun, the wind, even a mountain, until it revealed a truth so profound that it changed the way he saw himself forever. Sometimes life doesn't need years to teach you its greatest lesson. Sometimes all it takes is one dream and the courage to understand what it means. So stay with me till the very end, because this story might just awaken something within you too. Long time ago, there lived a humble stone cutter in a small hut by the side of a great rocky mountain. Every morning, before the sun had fully risen, the stone cutter would climb the mountain path with his heavy hammer slung across his shoulder. And every day, under the blazing sky, he would chip away at the rock face, hammering and shaping the stone until his arms ached and his hands were raw. It was hard, honest work, and though he was poor, the stone cutter earned enough to feed himself 3 meals a day, and he led a simple, contented life. But contentment, as we shall see, is a fragile thing. One afternoon, the sun burned fiercer than it had in weeks. The air about the rocks shimmered and danced with heat. The stonecutter's arms grew heavy. His throat was parched, and the hammer in his hands felt like it was made of iron twice over. He set down his tools, wiped the sweat from his brow, and looked around. A short way down the slope stood a great old tree. Its broad branches spread wide, casting a cool, dark circle of shade on the ground below. Just for a little while, the stonecutter said to himself, I will rest my eyes, just for a moment. He walked over, settled himself against the trunk of the tree, and let out a long, tired breath. The breeze was gentle, the shade was cool, and before he had even finished closing his eyes, the stonecutter fell into a deep, deep sleep. And in that sleep, he began to dream. In his dream, the stonecutter was walking home through the valley as the day faded into evening. He passed by the grand house of a wealthy merchant. The walls were built of polished stone that gleamed like gold in the fading light. Silk curtains fluttered from the windows. Servants hurried in and out, carrying trays of food and pitchers of wine. The stonecutter stopped and stared. He looked down at his own rough hands, at his dusty clothes, at the simple hammer hanging by his side. I cut rocks every single day, he muttered. And yet, I could never own such a beautiful house. Oh, how wonderful it would be to be a wealthy man, to have fine robes and rich food, and never worry about anything again. Now in this dream, the spirit of the mountain was listening, and every wish the stonecutter made would come true. A voice rang out from somewhere high above, neither thunder nor wind, but something ancient and deep. Your wish shall be granted. The stonecutter spun around. Who said that? I don't see anyone. But there was no answer, only silence, and the faint rustle of wind through the pine trees. He shook his head and walked on, thinking himself foolish. But when he arrived home, he stopped dead in his tracks. His little hut was gone. In its place stood a magnificent palace, gleaming with polished stone and fine wood, surrounded by gardens bursting with color. Inside, he found rooms filled with silk cushions, golden lamps, and tables heavy with the finest food he had ever seen. I must be dreaming, he whispered. And though he was right, he did not know it yet. For a time, the stonecutter, now a wealthy man, enjoyed his new life. He ate richly, slept on soft beds, and dressed in fine robes. But it was not long before his eyes wandered again. One morning, a great procession came through the valley. It was the king himself, carried in a golden sedan chair beneath a jeweled umbrella, surrounded by hundreds of servants and soldiers, horses and flags. The people along the road bowed low as he passed. The stonecutter watched from his window and felt a familiar ache stir inside him. "Look at the king," he said. "He is far grander than I. Everyone bows before him. He commands armies and rules the land. Oh, how I wish I could be the king." And once again, a voice rang out from somewhere high above. "Your wish shall be granted." In an instant, the stonecutter was transformed. He sat upon a golden throne in a great palace, wearing magnificent robes and a jeweled crown. Servants attended his every need. Soldiers obeyed his every command. The whole kingdom was his. "Now," he said, settling into his throne with a satisfied smile, "surely I am the greatest of all." But as the days passed, the sun beat down upon the land with terrible force. The fields dried up. The rivers shrank. The king sat in his palace, drenched in sweat, fanning himself uselessly. He looked up at the blazing sun and thought, how powerful that sun is. It is stronger than any king. It controls the whole world. It gives life, and it takes it away. No crown or army can command it. Oh, how I wish I could be the sun. A voice rang out from somewhere high above. "Your wish shall be granted." And in an instant, the stonecutter became the sun. Oh, how glorious it was! He blazed across the sky, pouring golden light down upon the earth, giving warmth and energy to every living thing. He watched over mountains and oceans, cities and forests, and nothing could hide from his gaze. "I am the greatest of all," he declared. "Nothing in this world is more powerful than I." But even as he said this, he noticed something moving slowly towards him. A great, dark cloud drifting in from the horizon. The cloud grew larger and larger until it slid directly in front of the sun, blocking his light completely. The sun pushed and blazed, but he could not shine through. The world below fell into shadow. "What is this?" cried the sun. "I thought I was the greatest of all. But this cloud is greater than me. It has stolen my light, and there is nothing I can do. Oh, how I wish I could be a cloud. A voice rang out from somewhere high above. Your wish shall be granted. And so the stonecutter became a mighty cloud. He drifted across the sky, high above the world, gazing down upon all the lands and seas and mountains and valleys below. Now I truly am the greatest, he thought. I can block the sun itself. I can flood the rivers and drench the fields. Nothing can touch me up here. And he poured rain down upon the earth, great torrents of it, flooding villages and washing away roads. Everything bowed before his power. But then the cloud felt something else, a trembling in the air. From beyond the hills came the wind. It started as a whisper, then grew into a howl, whipping around the cloud, tearing at him from every side. The great cloud began to stretch and break apart, scattering into wisps across the sky. "No!" cried the cloud. "I am not the greatest after all. The wind has more power than I could ever have. Oh, how I wish I could be the wind." A voice rang out from somewhere high above. "Your wish shall be granted." And the stonecutter became the wind. He raced across the world with furious speed, ruffling the tops of forests, whipping up great waves on the ocean, howling through canyons and across open plains. He toppled trees. He tore the roofs from houses. Nothing could stand in his way. "At last," he roared, "I am the greatest of all. I can fly across the whole world. I can move the clouds and stir the seas. Nothing is stronger than I." And then the wind came to the mountain. He blew and blew and blew with all his might. He threw himself against the mountain again and again. But the mountain did not move, not even an inch. It stood there, silent, immense, and utterly unmoved. The wind fell still. "So," he whispered, "I have found something far greater than I. The mountain cannot be broken. The mountain cannot be moved. It stands here, grand and eternal, and I am powerless against it. Oh, how I wish I could be the mountain." A voice rang out from somewhere high above. "Your wish shall be granted." And the stonecutter became the mountain. He stood tall and proud, his peaks reaching into the sky. The sun could not burn him. The wind could not topple him. The clouds could not cover him. The rain could not wash him away. "At last," said the mountain, "I have truly made it. I am the greatest of all. Nothing in this world can break me." And for a long time, there was only silence and peace. But then, tap, 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 the mountain heard a small sound at its base. He looked down, and there, far below, was a tiny figure, a man carrying a hammer, chipping away at the rock, breaking off pieces of the mountain one by one with patient, steady hands. The mountain trembled. "What?" he cried. "I thought I was the greatest of all. I thought nothing could break me. But down there, that small, ordinary man with his hammer, he is breaking me apart, piece by piece. He is greater than the mountain. He is greater than the wind and the cloud and the sun and the king and all the wealth in the world. The mountain's voice grew quiet. He is a stone cutter. Just a stone cutter. How I wish I could be a stone cutter once more. A voice rang out from somewhere high above. Your wish shall be granted. And in that moment, the mountain vanished. The sky folded, and the dream broke like a wave against the shore. The stonecutter's eyes flew open. He was sitting exactly where he had fallen asleep, beneath the great old tree, his back against the trunk, the afternoon sun slanting golden through the branches about him. His hammer lay beside him on the grass. The breeze stirred the leaves. A bird sang somewhere far away. He sat very still for a long time. The dream was already fading. The golden throne, the blazing sun, the howling wind, the unshakable mountain, all of it dissolving like mist in the morning light. But the feeling it left behind stayed with him, sharp and clear, like the ring of a hammer striking stone. He had been everything: a wealthy man, a king, the sun, the cloud, the wind, the mountain. He had chased greatness across the whole world, becoming more powerful with each wish. And yet, at the very end, the most powerful thing he found was the very thing he had been all along. A stone cutter, a small, ordinary man with a hammer and steady hands. The stone cutter looked down at his rough, calloused palms. He turned them over slowly, and for the first time in a very long time, he did not wish they were something else. He smiled. He picked up his hammer, rose to his feet, and walked back toward the mountain. The afternoon sun was warm on his shoulders. The rock waited for him, patient and old. And with a heart that was finally, truly at peace, the stonecutter raised his hammer and began to chip away at the stone once more. This story carries a lesson that most of us need to hear. Not once, but again and again. We live in a world that constantly tells us we are not enough. Not rich enough, not powerful enough, not successful enough. And so we spend our days chasing something bigger, something better, always believing that happiness lives somewhere out there, in the next promotion, the next achievement, the next version of ourselves. But think about what happened to the stonecutter. He became a wealthy man and still wanted more. He became a king and still felt small. He became the sun, the cloud, the wind, the mountain. And each time, he discovered that even the mightiest force has something it cannot overcome. The truth is, there is no final destination where you will finally feel like you have made it. Because true contentment does not come from what you become. It comes from accepting who you already are and doing your work with honesty, patience, and a peaceful heart. This story carries layers of wisdom. Gratitude over ambition. The stonecutter's suffering didn't come from his circumstances. It came from constantly comparing himself to something he perceived as greater. Each new form brought a brief thrill, then the same restless dissatisfaction. The lesson is clear. If you cannot be content with what you have, you will not be content with what you get. The illusion of greater. Every power in the story had a weakness. The king feared the sun. The sun was blocked by the cloud. The cloud was torn by the wind. The wind could not move the mountain. The mountain was broken by a man with a hammer. Nothing in this world is absolutely supreme. Chasing the top of that ladder is chasing something that doesn't exist. Strength comes from within. The stonecutter's hands, his patience, his steady daily work. These were the very things that could break a mountain. He overlooked his own quiet power because it didn't look grand or glamorous. We often do the same. The grass is never greener. Every transformation felt like an upgrade until it wasn't. This is the oldest trap in human nature. Believing that someone else's life, position, or power would finally make us happy. Look at your own life today. Look at your hands, your skills, your daily work. You may think it is ordinary. You may think it is not enough. But the stonecutter's steady hands could do what even a mountain could not resist. Your quiet, consistent effort, the work you do every single day, that is your greatest power. So stop comparing yourself to others. Stop wishing you were somewhere else or someone else. Water your own garden. Sharpen your own tools. Trust the work that is in front of you. Because the life you already have, when lived with gratitude and purpose, is more powerful than any throne, any crown, or any force of nature. True power and happiness are not found by becoming something else. They are found by accepting and honoring who you already are. The stonecutter traveled through every form of greatness imaginable, only to discover that the greatest force of all was the very thing he started as. So always remember these lines. Comparison creates suffering. Contentment brings peace. The real contentment is not having everything, but seeing the value in what you already have. You don't need a bigger role. You need a deeper presence in your role. Real freedom is choosing your path consciously, not running from difficulty or chasing status. The grass will always look greener on the other side if we are blind to the green beneath our own feet. He who knows that enough is enough will always have enough. The deepest power is not in becoming something greater, but in accepting and honoring who you already are. Now I want to hear from you. Comment below and tell me, what is one thing in your life that you have been overlooking or taking for granted? Sometimes the greatest blessings are the ones we forget to notice. If you believe this story should reach more people, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to stay with us. I'll be back again with another story like this. Until then, be patient, stay grateful, and remember, you are already enough.